8:25. Mostly bookshops put a new book on their shelves and hope someone will buy it. Not if it's the final novel by Terry Pratchett, who died in March. His went on sale last night, and his fans, there are an awful lot of them, were already waiting, queuing up indeed to buy it. Well, one of them, Pat Harkin, is with me. I call him a fan, super fan, really. And Philippa Dickinson is also on the line. She's the editor of his novels, was for 27 years. Pat, so you got the book.
I did. I was one of the people who went to the bookshop last night and queued up at midnight to get it.
You queued up at midnight? Were there many there?
So, there were 200 people had tickets, and I don't know how many others were just queuing on the hope of getting in.
You actually had a ticket in order to queue up to get in the bookshop?
To get into, there was a sort of a launch event.
Right.
But if you just wanted to buy the book,
you just queued up outside.
They would just buy the book.
Right. So, you've looked at it. We haven't said what it's called yet, of course. It's called The Shepherd's Crown. Yeah?
It is called The Shepherd's Crown. I have started it. I know there were fans last night who said they were going to start reading it and they weren't going to stop until they'd finished it. I've not taken that approach. I'm going to savour it like a fine wine. And I did hear one or two fans say that they are never going to read the last page.
Why?
So that it never ends.
Oh.
Which
I don't know whether that's daft or sweet. I think
it's both.
Yeah.
And I think Terry would have probably stamping his feet in frustration. They're saying, I wrote this for it to be read.
He would.
But anyway.
Yeah. So you've read a little bit.
I have.
And?
It is a Discworld novel. For what I've read so far, it is as good as anything that has gone before.
And this is a really stupid question. You've read them all.
Oh, more than one.
Exactly. We'll come back to you in a second. But Philippa, did you edit this one as well?
Yes, indeed.
Ah, right. And you've done all of them then? What? Not all of them, no, but for the last 27 years.
27 years. I counted up. I think I've edited 20 of them. I started when I met Terry in 1987, just after he'd published Equal Rights, which is one of my favourite books. I was instantly a fan, so it was just a delight to meet him. And then,
well, he's a lovely man anyway, isn't he?
Lovely, challenging, angry sometimes.
Yeah,
a hell of a character and utterly brilliant.
Good bloke, I thought. Anyway, and he was so during his illness, he was just so strong and helpful in all sorts of ways, wasn't he?
Absolutely. I was about to say he took the diagnosis on the chin. He was absolutely furious about it,
yes.
And then furious about the way in which Alzheimer's was at that point being treated and the access to treatment, and he was very, very public about it.
Indeed, and made a significant difference to a lot of views. I'd have thought.
Absolutely, and he at the time he thought he only had a couple of years, and so I think it's just the most phenomenal tribute to him that he was not only able to carry on for a great deal longer, but to actually write some very significant books in that time.
Well, that's the thing about those books. How big a part did you play? Because editors take a different. All editors are different, aren't they? All authors are different. When he produced a manuscript, did you need to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and say, no, Pratchett, you can't do that. You've got to do this.
Well, if I wanted to take my life in my hands, I would have done that. I vividly remember. And it very much depended on when Terry wanted input. Sometimes I didn't see the manuscript until it was very nearly the end. Sometimes I would see it part way through. But I remember once calling him up about the manuscript he'd sent me and pointing out one or two little things, and he went really quiet at the end of the phone, and I actually don't remember what happened next, but the conversation stopped.
Really?
And then the following morning he rang me up, and I realised I hadn't slept all that well. He rang me up and he said, I've decided you're not a cantankerous old bat after all.
High praise.
I have to say, I've ever since then taken that as a term of endearment, because I then said, does that mean you think I might be right?
And he said?
Well, he didn't exactly go that far.
Oh.
But the great thing about Terry is that, it wasn't just me. He consulted all sorts of people. Pat, I'm sure he consulted you from time to time.
Oh indeed he did. I remember once he asked me about what happens to a body in a dry cave. In the day job, I used to be a pathologist. And I gave him my considered opinion. And a couple of weeks later, I bumped into him at a book signing, and he spotted me some distance down the queue, and he just looked up and he said, I don't care what you say, it's going to happen, because there was something he wanted to happen in a suitably dramatic fashion, and the fact that it was scientifically unfeasible counted for nothing.
But you
I'm afraid.
didn't expect scientific credibility, did you? Or authenticity, maybe?
No. I mean, that is the advantage that Terry had of writing about a fantasy universe. Things could happen how he wanted them to happen for the good of the story.
Yeah,
but he never abused that power.
Yeah,
he was logical. Yeah.
Sorry, he sometimes said to me when anytime I was being inconveniently precise about things that might happen, he'd say, "It's fiction."
Well, he has a point there, didn't he?
Absolutely.
So, and quick one on his greatest work.
Oh, that's like, who's your favourite
I knew
child?
you'd hate that question.
Mort.
Mort, okay.
That's number 4 in the series.
Because you really love the Death character.
I certainly do.
Yeah.
Death remains my favourite character.
And Philippa?
For me, it's Equal Rights, but also this one as well, because it was the book that he wanted to write, he wanted to have it finished, and he wanted to see it published. He didn't quite make the latter bit, but he would have been proud. He would have loved Last Night.
And I bet it'll sell a few copies, won't it? Philippa and Pat, thank you both very much indeed.
My pleasure.